Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Alia Khaira binti Musa. My ID matric is BME2311022. Okay. Based on the article, a low or high inflation rate is not an absolute indicator of whether an economy is in a good or bad state. Okay, here's why. Okay, for my first point, inflation as an indicator. Okay. Inflation serves as a key economic indicator, but whether it signifies a good or bad state depends on the overall economic environment. Okay, for example, a low inflation rate might seem positive, but if it's due to a lack of a demand and economy slowdown, for example, COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, as seen during the COVID-19 pandemic or in the recent global trade slump, it can be negative sign. For the second point, historical context. The article points out examples such as the 1997 to 1998 East Asian crisis and the global financial crisis on 2009, where low inflation was not a sign of a healthy economy, but rather reflects economic contraction and reduced demand. Okay, for the third point, positive and negative effects. High inflation can erode purchasing power, leading to higher cost of living. However, very low inflation or deflation can indicate economic stagnation, cause consumer to postpone spending and business to delay investment, which is also harmful. Okay, for conclusion, whether low or high inflation must be analyzed in context. Low inflation does not always equate to economic health, and high inflation is not necessarily harmful if managed properly. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Luman Alikim, and today I'm going to be identifying types of inflation and explain it in this video. For the first type of inflation is the demand pull inflation. This type of inflation occurs when demand for goods and services exceeds supply, leading to an increase in prices. The article implies that during periods of economic growth, when consumer and business confidence is high, demand pull inflation can occur. However, it contrasts this with the current low inflation rate, suggesting that low demand may be contributing to the current situation. And for the next inflation I'm going to talk about is the cost push inflation. This type of inflation arises when the cost of production increases, leading businesses to pass on those costs to consumers in the form of higher prices. The article references the East Asian economic crisis of 1997 and also the 98, where increased production costs contributed to a rise in inflation rates and so on. And that's all for me today. Thank you for listening to my points. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Shamini binti Samsi. Today I would like to explain about the policy measure that could be effective in controlling rising inflation in Malaysia based on the article. So, the policy measure that could be effective in controlling using inflation in Malaysia, we have 3 points, which is monetary policy, fiscal policy, and also wage policy. First, monetary policy adjustment is the central bank could increase interest rate to reduce inflation by making borrowing more expensive. This helps to cool down excessive demand in the economy, which can drive price higher. For example, if inflation is high, Bank Negara might increase the overnight policy rate. This makes loan and credit more expensive, so people and any businesses will borrow and spend less. When spending decreases, demand for goods and services also drop, which helps reduce pressure on price and bring inflation down. Next, fiscal policy is the government could reduce public spending or increase tax to lower overall demand in the economy, thereby easing inflationary pressure. For example, reducing government spending. If the government of Malaysia cut backs on projects like building, less money is spent in the economy. With less spending, there is lower demand for goods and service, which can help reduce inflation. But for increasing tax, the government could raise tax such as income tax or sales tax. That means people and businesses will have less money to spend, leading to a reduction in overall demand, which can slow down inflation. Lastly, wage policy is ensuring that wage growth is aligned with productivity, can help prevent a wage price spiral, where increasing wage lead to higher price and vice versa. For example, if the productivity of workers in Malaysia increased by 3% in beer, the government or businesses might ensure that which are only increased by 3% as well. This prevents wage from rising too fast compared to the amount of good and service being produced. If wage rise much faster than productivity, businesses might increase price to cover the higher wage costs, which can lead to inflation. By aligning wage growth with productivity, inflationary pressure can be reduced. That's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Fatin Fatia and I'll be answering question number 4. Describe the potential consequences of a pre-lock reduction of inflation. So first here we have the economic stagnation. So the expectations of a continuous prices will decline has causes consumer and also businesses to cut back on spending and also investment. So how does economic stagnations will give an impact or effect to the potential consequences? So when the economic stagnations, there will happen to be a deflationary spiral risk. So why do I say this? It's because the reduced demand will causes the businesses to lower their prices, and then with the actions of these, it will lead further reductions in consumers and businesses spending. So these cycles will deepen the stagnations as both households and also companies will postpone their spending and investment, anticipating even on a lower price. Next, we have the lower investments. So with the reductions inflation, businesses, they will hold off their investing as they anticipate lower future return. So what are the effects? And how does the lower investment give the potential consequences of these pre-lock reductions of inflation? Because that when the lower investment, they will give a weak business confidence. And why do I say this? Is because in as we all know, right, in a low inflation or deflationary environment, businesses, they will become more cautious because they were expecting future sales and profit to remain flat or decrease. So they don't have the braveness to take a risk on investing. And then also the investor will not invest because they are expecting somewhere else in the future. And then this lack of confidence are very bad for the companies because it can deter the investments in a new plants, technology, or workforce development, and it will creating a cycle of economic stagnation. Next and last, we have the reduced pricing power. So businesses struggle to raise price. It will limiting their ability to also increase their revenue and profits. So how does reduced pricing power give a big impact to the consequences of the pre-lock reductions of inflations by they will lower their profit margins. So we all know that when the inflations are very low, businesses they will struggle or may struggle to raise the prices for their goods and services. When the prices are maintained, they will not receive that maximum profit, and then it will limiting their ability to also increase prices, or pricing power will reduces their profit margins, especially if their costs for like example wages or also operating expenses to continue to rises. When this happen, when their wages and operating expenses rises, they cannot, their ability to increase the price are very low. So in a very long run business, okay, this can limit their business's expansions and also profitability. Thank you.